Hello, Williamson County. I'm Kerri Hudson, and welcome to It's About You, an informational program about the classes, activities, and special events of the Williamson County Parks and Recreation Department. Well, after a fun and successful summer with numerous camps, special events, and great times at our outdoor pools and splash park, the Williamson County Parks and Recreation Department begins the process of transitioning back into our more ongoing monthly programming options for many of our divisions and activities. With the fall season quickly approaching, there's no better time to talk about one of the gems of Williamson County Parks and Recreation, Timberland Park. Autumn is the perfect season to spend some time in our quaint passive park and to experience the full beauty of nature and all its many gifts. Joining me today is Michael Culbreth. He's our trail supervisor at Timberland Park, here to share with us some exciting news and upcoming activities. Michael, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
Yeah.
And to talk about Timberland Park.
Yeah.
Timberland Park will actually be celebrating its 4th anniversary this fall.
That's right.
And even though this park has been open for several years now and more people know about it every day, it seems like, there's still something just magical about this place. Every time we talk about Timberland Park, it brings a smile to your face. It calms your spirit. There's something going on out there that I think everybody needs to experience.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know over the past couple years, more and more visitors are coming to the park. Let's start off today talking a little bit about the park itself. For people who maybe haven't been to Timberland Park yet or have heard about it but aren't quite sure where it is, give us a little information about the park and its location.
Sure. Timberland Park is located about 7 miles west of Franklin. We are on the Natchez Trace Parkway at mile marker 437.2. But if you know where the giant double arch bridge is that goes across the valley, it's the Natchez Trace Parkway. We're just less than a mile south of there, so we're really close to Franklin, really close to Fairview. All these big areas. So that's where we're located.
And tell us a little bit about the park itself.
Yeah. So it's a 72-acre nature park, most known for its hiking trails and that sort of thing. We have a bunch of different things to see while you're there. So we have 3 miles of hiking trail on the park proper. We have 2 additional miles of hiking trails on our neighbor's property. We have a visitor center that has, your average kind of stuff like restrooms, information, pamphlets, maps, that kind of thing that you can grab before you hit the trail. We also have tools up on the wall, like old tools that kind of pertain to the history of the park, which has entirely to do with turn of the century logging, right? So that whole area, the whole park area, as well as area surrounding it, was clear cut around the turn of the 20th century or so, so 1900, a little bit after as well. And we have pictures up on the wall that you can kind of see what the park looked like at that time, because we have a bunch of pictures from the county overall that shows logging activity, but we do have one picture that was taken from the park itself, and it's just a dramatic difference between that picture and what you see today. It's really kind of bounced back from that clear cutting.
Well, it's amazing what nature can do on its own.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you go out to Timberland Park, I mean, it is heavily forested, wooded, I guess is the proper way to say it. Tall trees, and, and it's amazing to think the cycle of nature and how it restores itself.
Right.
And something that was just clear land about 100 years ago is once again rebounded.
That's right, and it's a comforting thought to me that no matter how much we may ruin something, it can bounce back
if given time.
If given time, and we don't touch it anymore, right? But
a lot of those logging trails were how we initially cut in some of our walking trails, right?
For sure. So some of our main trail, what we call arteries, the main walking trails where the trailheads start, they are extra wide, and you'll know the difference when you see them. And all those are old logging trails. So these men were going into the woods with teams of mules and loading up just huge logs and then sometimes carrying them straight up really steep hills, because that's one thing we have a lot of, is we have a lot of hills. But it's really, really interesting to think about the different, the different time that those men were walking on the trails versus when I'm walking on them, and just the different people. It's interesting to think about. But yeah, so our main trail arteries were all old logging roads. So if you're walking on those, it's like you're walking, on something historic, for our county.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, in the visitor center, we have tools on the wall from turn of the century logging. We have pictures. We have just different natural things that I found on the trail, like turtle shells, snake skin, that kind of thing. People can come and look at and actually touch and feel.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a really fun place for children.
Absolutely.
The visitor center's not enormous.
No.
But if you're walking through, and it's an interesting place for children just to have a little different perspective on what's out there in nature.
Right. That's right. That's right. And there's just all sorts of things that they can actually come and touch and feel and pick up and actually look at, instead of it being behind glass.
Not to mention the fact that the park attendants are so. Well, they're just amazing to talk to. I don't think anyone walks into our visitor center at Timberland Park without at least 2 greetings.
That's very true.
Someone who's always willing to lend an ear, tell a story. We've had our daughter in there several times, and they're always just so attentive to younger ones, and really helping them build a bond with nature.
Yeah, for sure. And that's, to be frank, that our staff, our park attendants that are out there, I fully attribute our success to. They are the ones who have really, they make people want to come back. Now, they are an interesting bunch to be sure, but they really do make that park what it is. So they're always there. They're there. So if you just want to come and sit and talk to somebody, they're very good at that.
Very good.
About all different, whole wide range of topics as well.
There is, and there are some wonderful places just to sit and visit a spell inside the visitor center.
That's
with
right. We've
the
got rocking
full back
chairs.
deck and
the
stone
back deck.
fireplace, and if you happen to wander into Timberland Park and the visitor center is not very full, if you feel so inclined, it's a wonderful place to visit for a little bit.
Absolutely, and just to relax, because you feel like you're in the woods even though you're inside. It's got that kind of atmosphere.
To it. Other things inside the interpretive center, we do ask for all of our visitors to come and check in the visitor center. There's a logbook for people to sign, and then there's a way people can, I don't want to say rent because there's no fee for them, but check out walking sticks.
Yeah, pretty much. So especially if it's your first time visiting, we like people to sign in, just because we like to know where people are coming from, because we get visitors from all over the world. In fact, we have a map in the visitor center where if you're coming from somewhere, other than like the Nashville or Franklin area, then we have you put a pin in the map just so we can see where people come from. We have people from all over the United States and the world. So it's always really neat to go back in the book and see, who signed in and where they were from and that kind of thing. But yeah, you're right. We also have walking sticks that you can pretty much just borrow and return when you're done with your hike. And given the spider webs that sometimes cross the trail, it's good to have that stick just to knock those down.
For a few reasons.
That's right. Yeah, they're a multi-use kind of thing.
It's a Timberland Park multi-tool.
That's right. Pretty much. Yeah. Another really interesting thing about the visitor center is the fact that it is a standalone building, as in we don't have any utilities up there at all.
Right.
So given that we're off the Natchez Trace Parkway, we couldn't run power lines and water pipes up through there and that kind of thing, because it's a national park. It has to be protected. So we had to do something kind of creative. So it's completely solar powered. All of our water comes from the wells, so everything out there is standalone. We're not hooked up to anything, really.
Off the grid.
It's off the grid, yeah.
Keeping with that nature theme.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And that's something I really attribute our department and the people who helped us form Timberland Park with. They were adamant in it maintaining its pristine natural setting.
Yeah.
And everything down to, you know, just water on site, you know, the built-in sewer and septic and how all that works is completely green and self-sustaining.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that's as it should be, given that it's a nature park. I feel like when possible, you know, it's good to do that kind of thing. Yeah.
And over the years, you all have added a couple of extra little features around the visitor center. You have some beautiful gardens now.
Yeah, yeah. So we have right outside the front doors of the visitor center, we have a butterfly garden, which is basically a small area to where we've planted, or I'm sorry, we didn't plant all the plants, and the labor and everything was donated by a chapter of the Audubon Society. They donated all that to the park, but they planted all sorts of native flowering plants that butterflies and birds both need and enjoy. And it's actually just the past couple, which we've had stuff blooming all, you know, basically since March up until now. But it's only until recently that we've had a lot of butterflies showing up. You know, you check out our Facebook page and you'll see some videos of some of the butterflies, bees, birds, all sorts of things that are using this relatively small patch. But I mean, there's just dozens of different species fluttering around you, and it's a lot of fun just to stand in the middle of it and then just fly around you pretty much. Yeah.
Part of the fun of it, you know?
Yeah.
There's always something whimsical and fun in nature. I think that's part of it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we were talking about the visitors, that they come from all over. They're local, they come from, you know, within the United States and around the world. Talk to us a little bit about some of your averages in visitors, because you do see quite a few people come through that park. And
absolutely.
We're only able to base our statistics off the individuals that actually sign in.
Right. So we do have a counter that will basically count cars as they come through the park entrance, and we take just sort of an average of all those to get the total counts. But generally, winters are, as you might imagine, our slowest time. It's, you know, dreary, it's cold, we get less people coming out there. But some people that I've noticed that they become regulars only in the winter. Then they drop off spring and summer, fall, but then they come back the next winter. Some people dislike that. But spring and autumn are both our busiest times by far, just because the weather is the most pleasant. Springtime, people want to get the heck out of the house from winter and get outside. And then fall, same kind of thing. People don't like being hot all summer, so they stay inside. So during the fall, it's nice, and they're ready to experience those cooler temperatures, and they come back out. Generally, our busiest months are between October, November, as you might expect. That's kind of the nicest time. The leaves are changing. It's cooler temperatures. We average in October around between 7,000 and 8,000 visitors a month or so. So yeah, this coming fall, it will be kind of picking up.
Picking up a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit,
Yeah, and we had a fairly wet first half of the summer, I feel like.
Right.
So hopefully if we can get a little bit more rain on the back end of the summer, we'll have a good leaf season for the fall.
That's right. It's a weird kind of mixture that makes a beautiful, colorful fall. A dry late summer could be good, or if it's too dry, it'll just kill the leaves outright and it won't do anything. So it's a fine balance that we have to strike here.
So yeah, fingers crossed for a beautiful fall season. We hope we get what we need for that.
Yeah.
Well, we do have several other things that we want to talk about. You've got some amazing programs coming up this fall that we want to let people know about.
Sure.
As well as your park schedule, because we will see a change in the park schedule this fall, but we do need to take a quick break.
Okay.
Y'all stay tuned. When we come back, we'll be spending more time talking with Michael Culbreth about Williamson County Parks and Recreation's Timberland Park.
I really didn't feel safe anymore at home.
Sometimes I wouldn't eat. It was like this hunger pain in your stomach.
It was just so lonely. I just felt like I was not important to anyone.
I never thought homelessness could happen to someone like me.
I remember coming here and I felt comfort, I felt safe.
Graduating to valedictorian, getting a job, keeping the job, it's just a good feeling.
Because I've completely turned my life around and made it into what I've always wanted it to be. There's people out there who can help There's people out there who care, and things can get better.
If you call 1-800-RUNAWAY, you will get connected to the help you need.
Welcome back to It's About You. We're talking today about Timberland Park, Williamson County Parks and Recreation's passive park off of the Natchez Trace Parkway. For the first half of the show, we talked a lot about the park itself, the amenities of the park, location, but we want to spend a little time on the second half talking about programming. When Timberland first opened, it was more of just a visitor's park, you know, just stop by, visit the Interpretive Center, hike on the trails. But over the past couple of years, you've really built a lot of programming options going on at the park. This summer, you all hosted your second annual Timberland Park Summer Day Camp program.
Yeah, sure did.
For children ages 7 to 12. Had a wonderful success with this program. We only hope to see it grow more in the coming years. Did a lot of trail work and extra extensions to our existing trails. And have about, was it 5 miles?
5 miles for now, and then, here very soon we're going to have an additional mile created. It's a work in progress right now.
Always is.
Yeah.
Well, that's life.
Yeah,
Life is a work in progress.
That's very true, yeah.
And we still have lots of other programs to look forward to. You do have one final summer program coming up on Saturday, August the 18th, a Forest Tall Tales program. Tell us a little bit about that program.
Okay, so that one, as the name might imply, is basically me telling stories. And all these stories were I got from my grandfather, who was an attendant at a campground for many years. And he would tell stories around the campfire at night and that kind of thing. So all these stories are things that I'm getting from my grandfather. And they all have to do with, and some of them have to do with the forest or nature, or some of them are more like spooky stories, I guess, quote unquote.
Campfire stories.
Campfire stories, yeah, in the middle of the day. But that's okay. They can still be fun. But we'll take a little walk as we go, and every so often we'll stop, tell another story and that kind of thing. And all that will center around our handicap accessible trail, so anyone can make it out and do this program, and just hear another story that maybe you haven't heard before and that kind of thing. Yeah.
It is a completely free program.
Absolutely.
It's going to be from 4 to 4:45 on Saturday, August the 18th, like Michael said. It's for individuals of all ages and ability levels.
Right.
And people who are interested in attending, we do ask them to register in advance just so we know what kind of crowd to prepare for. And registration's currently available through our website at wcparksandrec.com. From the homepage, you can click on the Facilities and Parks tab, select Timberland Park, upcoming programs, and you'll see a link to register. And then this fall, you have a lot of activities going on.
Right.
September, October, and November. Different types of things for people to enjoy and participate in. Guided hikes, animal exhibits, all kinds of fun stuff.
Right.
Fun for all ages.
Yes.
And we'll start off talking just a little bit about some of the programs in September. It's the first, second, and fourth Friday in September.
Yep.
September 7th, 14th, and 28th. On the 7th, you're doing a guided hike.
Sure. So that one will be from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. So, we give ourselves an hour buffer before the park closes and that kind of thing, just in case we run over just a smidge. But that hike will be around a mile-ish, maybe a smidge less, maybe a smidge more, just kind of depends upon what everyone's feeling like at the time. But on the guided hike, we will go over just a whole wide range of things like our native plants, animals, how to identify these different things, things to be cautious about in the woods, stuff you don't need to worry about that people often do, that kind of thing. In general, just to try to learn more about the stuff you're going to find out there. Because
It's a little one-on-one course.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And these programs, all the programs we do, I feel like they are the most important thing that we do out at that park. Because they are a way for people to form a connection with the park that they wouldn't have otherwise. People walking out in the woods, they enjoy themselves, but they don't necessarily form a connection or a bond with it. And that's the only way that a park can truly be successful, is if people care about it. And so this is teaching people why they should care, basically, Yeah.
And then the following Friday, September the 14th, we have an afternoon program called Tree Ring Fun.
Yeah. So that one, for adults, it may be a little bit basic unless you don't know a lot about trees, in which case you may learn something. But that one is going to do with the life history and different types of trees that we find in our neck of the woods. So it'll have to do with, like how trees grow, what they need to grow, different species of trees, and we'll all look at different types of tree rings. I have a bunch of little, what we call tree cookies. There's basically a cross section of a tree, and we'll get to count rings, do a little like etching of the rings, and that way people can take it home. And if they have a hard time counting it, just looking at it, they can go back and actually look at it a little bit closer, from their etching. Yeah. Anyway, just all about different species of trees and just that sort of thing. Yeah.
And then the last Friday in September on the 28th, we have a Mammal Pelts demonstration. I guess is probably the best way to say it.
Yeah, right. So that will have entirely to do with the different mammals that you'll find in and around Williamson County. And that will range from white-tailed deer, coyote, possum, skunk, all sorts of different things.
You see quite a few of those around
you do.
Williamson County.
You sure do.
They're invading the neighborhoods.
Yeah. So that will be just a good opportunity for people to look and feel these animals without the potential, without the animal, right? All of them are deceased. But it's a good way to feel the fur anyway, and how often can you say you've got to pet a skunk? Some people maybe did accidentally or intentionally, but yeah. Anyway, so that's just a good opportunity for people to learn about these animals, their likes, dislikes, and if you don't want them around your house, how to maybe get them away from you without resorting to the exterminator, that kind of thing, you know.
And I love how you make all of these presentations and these group events very local, very about native species that are in our back out our back door.
Yeah. I mean that's the stuff you're going to see on a day-to-day basis. So I mean I think it's a good thing for everyone to know about them. It's really cool learning about lions, zebras, tigers, all that kind of thing. But those are a long way from here, and you're not going to deal with them on a day-to-day basis, hopefully. Yeah. But anyway, I think it's just important that people know more about the stuff that's around them.
Exactly. In October, you have a couple of programs on the calendar, another guided hike on Friday, October the 19th, and then a Halloween celebration on Saturday, October 27th.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that because that's going to be something a little bit different. We are having basically the programmer from Walden's Puddle, which is a local nonprofit that helps sick and injured wildlife. So if you have sick and injured wildlife, you can take it to Walden's Puddle north of Nashville, and they'll do everything they can to help it out. But they also have some animals that they get brought to them, but for one reason or another they can't be reintroduced to the wild, and so we're going to have them out for a little while anyway. And the schedule's still kind of in flux right now, but you can check our website or our Facebook page and to get more details as time goes on. But that will include different, different nocturnal animals. We call it a Halloween program, but it's just stuff of the night, like owls. A whole wide range of different animals, live animals, mind you, so it'll be a little bit different from the animal pelts.
Exactly.
But along with that, we'll have guided hikes. We'll do owl pellet dissections, which, if you don't know what that is.
Science and nature coming together.
That's right. That's right. We won't go into it right now, I think.
Yeah. If you want to find out,
Yeah, yeah.
come see us October 27th.
That's right. So we'll just be doing a whole wide range of things, but the thing that I'm really excited about is having Walden's Puddle out there and doing a presentation with different types of animals. Yeah.
And live animals at
Right.
that as well.
Oh, yeah.
And then going into the end of the fall in November, we have a fall color hike
Right.
scheduled for Friday, November the 2nd. So like we talked about earlier, hopefully that special recipe of,
Right.
Summer weather will happen so that we can have a beautiful fall hike November 2nd.
And that it should fall just about right. It's late October, early November out at Timberland that we really get the most color. If we're going to get colorful leaves, that's what we're going to have. So hopefully we'll get lucky this year.
The following Friday, November 9th, there's another guided hike. And then the next day, November 10th, filling up that Veterans Day weekend, we have another Mammal Pelts presentation. So lots of different things for people to look forward to over the
Right.
fall, some different kinds of things that they can do to get out and stay connected with their natural surroundings in Williamson County.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about,
So some of the specific details on a few of these programs are still getting ironed out, as Michael mentioned earlier. But basic information is currently available through our website. And just like that program in August that we talked about, we do ask for advanced registration for these free programs just so staff can better prepare for the events themselves.
Right.
So again, visit us at wcparksandrec.com to get more information and to register. If you would want more information just about Timberland Park itself, you can find it through our website or, like Michael's mentioned already, through the Timberland Park Facebook page. Just search Timberland Park on Facebook, and you can get all kinds of information about additional upcoming programs and sights and sounds and other interesting facts from the park itself. Michael is he is like a talking encyclopedia at Timberland Park. There's not much that he doesn't know about that goes on there, and he will tell you about it from nature to animals and wildlife. You can get lots of little interesting tidbits out of Mr. Culbreth.
Yeah. If I don't know, I'll tell you that too. So.
And he'll usually find out.
Yeah.
In just our last couple of minutes, we do want to talk a little bit about the park schedule. In the fall, we will have a schedule change.
Yes.
Right now, the park's hours are 7 days a week, Sunday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And in November will be a slight modification to those hours, where the park will be open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Right.
Information's posted on our website about the specific date that will take place. There's also some holidays throughout the fall, and really I admire what you do, Michael, and your staff for what you guys do, because you realize holidays are some of the days that people want to visit Timberland Park, and so you guys rarely take holidays off and really maintain your regular park hours.
That's what we try to do, and it's not always the most fun thing in the world necessarily, but once we get there, it's a good time. But yeah, it's important to us to be open on as many holidays as possible, because that's when people have off work, and that's when they want to come out and enjoy the park, and no one wants to drive out and see the gate closed, you know. So yeah, we try to be open as often as possible.
Really, the only fall holiday you'll be closed is Thanksgiving Day, November 22nd. But more information about holidays, park hours, and schedules available through our website, as well as our inclement weather policy. This really won't affect us much in the fall, but starting in the winter, there are periodic times when the park is closed because it is green and off the grid. There's just some days it's not pleasant to be out there.
Some days it could be dangerous, so we try to avoid that if possible.
Our inclement weather policy is also available through our website, or you can always call our inclement weather hotline for updates on our park schedules. Michael, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have you here and talk about Timberland Park.
Anytime. I enjoyed it.
I want to thank you guys for joining us as well. We'll see you next time. And until then, remember, Williamson County, it's all about you.